Hey everyone, and welcome to the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports podcast. I'm your host, Josh. SalvationsElite to my right is Bash _ Bo3 Sam. And to our farthest right, per usual, is the legendary, the infamous Rex, Shady, Nero. And guys, Rostermania is in full go. It's a full go. We are in the sublime tweeting stage of Rostermania. We'll soon get in. We're about a week away from the officially signed tweets Rostermania. Before we get into any of the news and anything else, I've got to ask, guys, what is going on?
Josh.
This is going to be his worst one yet.
I am feeling like a ragamuffin has just squandered away with my biscuits, and I don't know what to think. It's how I'm feeling right now.
Oh my gosh. Whoever made that tier list, this is the
my ascot
bottom
right here. I'm all fancied up, and I'm ready for the show.
Yeah, nice ascot, bro.
Oh no.
Thank you, brother.
If you're new to the show, you're probably not here anymore. But we got a lot to talk about today. Thank you, Rex. Sam, how you doing?
If you're new, you're probably not. Oh, dude, good.
Oh, man. Wow. I don't know what just happened. I'll be honest. I got lost in the mix, but we're here. We're here now. Like I said, SalvationsElite on Twitter, Bash _ Bo3, Shady Nero, the UK man himself. And you can listen to us where podcasts can be listened. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You can watch on YouTube. You can drop reviews on Apple Podcasts, which is something we're going to read today. So, the man himself, Eric B. 2332 says, GOAT podcast 5 stars. My go-to podcast for everything CDL. They go in depth on every topic and make sure that every team is covered. Best podcast. Absolute legend.
Woo! Thank you, Eric B.
And Gabe the Pandora Man 1998-7 says,
Whoa.
Best podcast 5 stars. This is a great way to spend my Tuesday every Tuesday. Love the podcast. Keep doing big things.
Thank you, Gabe.
Thank you, my man.
Did you know
The
Tuesdays
Pandora
are the worst day of the week?
Tuesdays?
Not for the listeners of this podcast.
Tuesdays.
What are you talking about?
Not for
I'm
the listeners
saying
of this podcast.
Tuesdays are the worst day of the week.
It's a go-to day of the week, let's be honest, because the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports podcast releases on Tuesdays.
Woo!
Yes.
Yes. Don't be too unenergetic about that one. All right. We got a lot to go over today, though, and a lot of news to talk about. It obviously, there's just, let's just get into it.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Let's do it.
Hit the button.
The Call of Duty News of the Week.
Wow. This podcast started off on just like
The worst note
the
possible.
weirdest foot. And I've been on recovery since. So
It's a long 2 minutes.
it's been a lot that's happened in the last 2 minutes here. But news of the week. I mean, All-Star Weekend is coming up here. Let's go, boys. Hype in the chat for some All-Star Weekend. Let's go, baby. Shocker, Octane's unavailable. He tweeted like, y'all thought you were going to get me on Modern Warfare again. No way. You know,
That's funny.
Octane, Scraps, and Simp are apparently, quote unquote, unavailable for the weekend. So obviously this weekend, how it's going down, it's like Saturday and Sunday basically, and it's a 32-player 1v1 bracket. And the bracket is really interesting. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of intrigued. I will be honest, I'm pretty intrigued after seeing the bracket. There's $100,000 on the line, and it's going to be spread across apparently a lot of players because first place is getting $15K. I don't know necessarily how it's going to play out, but you got some fun matchups in the first round, you know? I mean, like, you got like Dashy v Hook and like Arcitys versus Awakening, Cell v Mac. There's some fun ones in there. Zuma Wuskins, Kenny Shotzi. Like, there's some fun matchups. I'm excited. I'm actually a little intrigued.
It is cool.
Honestly,
how many people are taking it seriously?
Well,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna be taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously.
All things considered, it's at least fun. Obviously, the timing of it is like the weirdest. That's what's the weirdest thing is that it's happening. The fact that it's happening,
After
2 weeks
champs.
after, like 2 weeks after champs. Like that's what's weird about it.
Yeah. I mean,
If
and the
it would've
multiplayer
happened-
reveal's gonna be out too for Cold War,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Like if it would have happened at a different time, I'd be really excited. But I'll say, like I said, my interest is at least intrigued. It's peaked. I'll check it out for sure. I'll be there
Are they?
for sure.
I guess they're gonna play like gunfights. Or are they gonna choose their loadouts or what's?
Yeah, I would
like-
imagine.
I was gonna say if we're gonna see like tomahawks and like snipers just come out.
Yeah, that's
you
what,
know,
I don't know if they're gonna get their own loadouts. I hope they
that'd be
do,
interesting. Yeah, that'd be fun then. Like a trick shotting.
but it'll probably be
1v1.
gunfight 1v1s. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
But who knows? Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of like the first piece of news. I mean, they were replaced by the next 3 most voted players. Crim6 isn't playing in it either. So that's kind of how it goes for them. But
Yep.
at the end of the day, the next piece of news: Cold War multiplayer reveal, baby. Wednesday, noon Central. We're finally
In September.
finally seeing the multiplayer. Like I said, in September. I mean, if you guys kind of been MIA for the past week, there were some things we've seen around.
Some things.
Thanks
leakages.
Doug is raw. Thanks Doug is raw for a great
Going
6
live.
minutes. It was tough. I mean, like, obviously it's out there somewhere. I'm sure you can see it. I don't know. What's most interesting for me is that we're going to be seeing a lot of gameplay on Wednesday because people were invited to play it.
Mhm.
And apparently how they did it is that they sent out alpha codes that people could download the alpha, so you could play from home this year around. So I imagine they sent out a few more than normal, and that's what happened to Doug is Raw. Is he accidentally click go live instead of record?
Yeah.
Those buttons on OBS are right next to each other, man. They're terrifying sometimes. Even when I'm doing the podcast, I sometimes have almost clicked live, so I can see like for a full time streamer like Doug, like how you could accidentally click the just naturally instinct click the go live button. But
Yeah, I even saw like Tim Tatman
Right.
put it out. Like he played it too. So I mean, like I'm sure they gave it to COD pros and
any
then
popular streamer.
any popular streamer. So which is only good for the COD scene, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully that obviously I'm sure the focus is going to still be on Warzone for however Warzone is implemented into Cold War, but
But for now, it's multiplayer.
yeah. So the more exposure, the better. But hopefully that doesn't mean negligence on the comp scene. So, but
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, the most exciting thing, again, we're going to get a lot of gameplay on Wednesday. Basically, all of those creators are going to be uploading their gameplays they got during this week that they were able to play on Wednesday. So we're going to have just an abundance of Cold War gameplay on Wednesday to go through. What I thought was really cool is that we saw we know for a fact at least 3 pros were able to play. So that's a good sign. And it was Scump, Zuma, and Priestahh, which, I mean, maybe it's because of their affiliations, like, with like FaZe and their past and stuff potentially. But I don't know. I mean, maybe even more than that have played it, which is cool. And that's good to see. Because, I mean, we have seen years where pros haven't touched the game until it gets released. And so that is exciting to see already.
Yeah.
Right.
For
yeah.
sure. And then
I
the
have
other
high
piece of
hopes
news.
for Cold War. I have high hopes.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And the other piece of news to tag along with that competitively is that Clay in an ESPN Esports interview was asked about Cold War, and he says he's under like tons of NDAs. But he said the one resonating word is positive experiences. And he said there's plans, there's positivity, and there's been conversations already. It's all been good. So
where was
that
this
is
at?
exciting. This was on an ESPN Esports interview.
Okay. I mean,
And
would he ever
that's
say
awesome.
anything negative though? Have the
I think he would-
players
I
ever
think
said
he
anything
would've-
negative about when they?
I think he would have even
pre-played it?
said anything. If
He
it
would've
was
said
negative,
nothing.
he wouldn't have said. He just said nothing about it. Probably.
But I mean, if they're talking to guys like Clay, if Zuma, Scump, Priestahh have codes for the alpha already, and I would imagine more if just those 3, but those are the 3 we know for a fact. I mean, that gets me pretty optimistic about the future of competitive COD on Cold War. I mean, all things considered,
Yeah.
from what we've seen in the gameplay and everything else. I mean, overall, like where are you at with Cold War competitively before we see it on Wednesday? What are you hoping to see on Wednesday?
I'm hoping to see small maps.
Smaller maps.
From things that we have seen. The one thing that scares me is the map sizes are
Is a little
huge.
bit massive. Yeah.
It's like, what in the world?
Yeah.
But that really is going to be my sole focus. Guns, or whatever.
Guns are guns, you know.
Guns are guns. We've seen kind of like the color palette is really nice color palette. Basically, maps are because I feel like it's hard to like tell tuning too because weapon tunings will happen.
It's all gonna change. Yeah,
will all change. So like if you see something like looks crazy, it'll probably get changed for competitive. But I think that's like the one main thing we can see is like, okay, what is the map layout, and will we have more competitively focused maps? Since if they're gonna do a pub,
competitively viable maps.
Yeah, since we're going back to 4v4, but I think pubs are still 6v6.
Yeah, it looks like
it's now that kind of weird dichotomy now again where we don't have the same pubs, which I think Modern Warfare pubs were 6v6 still.
Yeah.
Or 5v5. I don't know. I never played pubs.
They
Yes,
were
so.
6v6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. That is what I
Yeah, Rex, what are you hoping to see on Wednesday?
I'm curious to see, well, the new game modes, like we already saw that one was like called like VIP, right?
I don't think we saw it. We didn't see it.
That was the leaked footage.
I don't think we saw leak footage.
There's no leak footage.
Doug is Raw was playing that.
Nope, there is no leak footage.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That was over my head. But yeah, okay, whatever. I'm hoping to see some new game modes, like other than maybe that VIP, which I guess I didn't look at it too closely, but it looked like maybe it's like Team Defender, Search and
It's like
Destroy.
Safeguard in BO4. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see if there's any sort of mode that's going to replace Dom or CTF as a competitive mode, or just like, like how we usually had Uplink and
Good
now
luck.
there's like CTF Dom. Like maybe they threw in like some other new creative thing, like Blitz and Ghost or something, like something else that could be that mode that might be really fun.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
unless
in
we play
BO4 they
Control
had
again. I don't know.
Yeah, in BO4 they had like the control kind of like beta like that you could play and stuff too. So like we'll see. I'm not thoroughly like expecting anything crazy. I'd imagine it's gonna be basic gameplay, like kind of what we'd expect from like a multiplayer reveal, like maybe some Dom and like some TDM and kind of the usual.
Probably,
maybe S&D if they're really nice to us, but I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think I kind of agree with like Clay's like assessment. It's like the positivity is pretty exciting. If he's feeling like they've had good conversations already, and like there's plans. He said there's plans. I don't know what that means. What are plans? But overall, I think I'm pretty excited with the direction that competitive could potentially take, like moving forward for sure.
Also, an announcement for ranked when it comes out. Like they will be implementing a ranked.
How
Right.
cool,
Oh, that
how
would be
cool-
dope. If
How
they had-
cool
if
would
they
that be? If
had-
like ended it with like ranked play
launching on
with
December 1st.
Yeah. Or how about when the game launches? It's probably asking too much at this point.
I mean, realistically, like it doesn't even make. I mean, maybe you like for the first 3 weeks you'd have to do like placement only games.
It'd be
It's
like a
there's no meta.
preseason.
Yeah, it's a preseason
comp.
ranked because there'd be no meta.
Yeah.
But
That's what most games did, and then they move into real. But yeah,
yeah, exactly. So we'll see. But again, lots of Black Ops Cold War talk next week once we see the official reveal and everything that we're gonna find out about that and see all the gameplay from all these pros and stuff. That'll be fun. Karma to the Huntsmen?
Question mark.
Is it possible? So
Ooh, okay.
Formal was playing with Karma. He was like, "Yo, like, bro, why'd you retire, man?" It's like, "I was wanting to team with you again." And then Karma was like, "I don't know, man. I don't know, man." And just gave it that. I don't know. It feels like from what we've heard from Hex and how he was like, "Yo, I was the first person to get in Karma's DMs when he retired." Blah blah blah. I mean, like, what are the odds that Karma joins the Huntsmen in some way? We're gonna talk Rostermania here in a minute, but like, it's not gonna be as a player. It sounds like he is retired, but like content creator, analyst, coach.
Yeah, I feel like Hex is, we've seen it over and over again. He looks out for his boys.
Yeah.
He got back Maniac.
He wants to get the band back together.
Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's offering him a lot of money to come on as either full-time streamer.
Like joining NRG. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's got to happen in some way.
I mean, yeah, I think definitely Karma will probably end up with Hex for a while. And then when he explodes, he might leave. I don't know, but
It'd be cool to see him as a coach too.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. But by like what it sounded like was happening on that team is like they wouldn't be able to listen to each other as like coaches so much because they just like know each other too well almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
yeah,
true.
I agree. I don't think Karma coaching OpTic would make that much sense. Like it would make more sense for him to coach like a young team of guys than like a team of scump and formal.
True.
Right.
You know?
Very true. Yeah.
So I agree with you. I mean, I think it's possible that he could just sign like being like an assistant, like when like an analyst, you know, or like an assistant coach type situation, and like he's Karma. He'll chill there. He'll give his feedback or whatever. But like he's there to be a content creator at the end of the day. That's probably what's going to happen. I would imagine that's pretty likely. I wanted to get your opinion on. I don't know if you guys saw like the Clay, Crim, Censored Karma were on the Trainwrecks podcast. I don't know if you caught any of that.
Yep.
I watched maybe like the last like 45 minutes or so when like right when Crim and Censor or right when Clay and Censor were leaving. But they were talking about how like how they don't feel like a lot of players this year were playing to win. They were just playing to maintain their contracts and maintain their spot next season. And Rex, that was definitely something you mentioned like with certain teams during the year. I mean, what were your thoughts on that, Rex?
I mean, no, what they said is kind of what I've been thinking is like there's going to be some players who just like they're just trying to get on the roster, get their paycheck and like move on, like and just stay there, be just good enough to stay there because they're getting like enough money that way. They don't really care about the winning part of it so much. And I think I agree with them. I think it's probably the case for a lot of those players. I mean, I've seen some tweets out there. So like they're just trying to get on the rosters again. Like it just sounds like even as a sub, like I'll be on a roster. Like they just want to get on there so they can get a paycheck and live their life and do whatever they want to do. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame them at all. It only makes sense. You know, at the end of the day.
Yeah, and like especially too with that month of those who knew it was going back to 4v4.
Like that's where you can start not playing for the hill. Crim was mentioning that in Codcast.
Yep.
Where he was just like, yo, there were guys just they weren't even getting in the hill. They were playing for that last kill at the end of the game.
They wouldn't even contest.
Yeah, and he was talking about how like that adds up after a while, and stuff like that.
So yeah, like I do think when some players heard that and didn't have good chemistry on their team, they just thought, all right, I'm just gonna play for stats, and that's probably some of the teams that performed horribly at champs, which kind of leads into an interesting conversation about Octane too. There's some people that
Crim mentioned him.
Crim mentioned him, and then Temp and Slasher in Temp's little rant. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Temp's we could just talk about Temp's rant.
I watched it too.
It was a blast. He was just going off on everyone. And Temp and Slasher for a second targeted Octane. They said they're talking about Octane because they know Octane can take it, is what they said. And Slasher was like, Octane was not a top 10 player this year. That's a bold statement for considering, like, I would say majority of fans, majority of analysts, if not all analysts and all fans would say Octane was for sure a top 10 player this year. And Octane in his own video I saw, he said that he thought Modern Warfare was his second best COD behind Black Ops 4, which means in his mind he probably was a top 10 player. But I don't know. Where you guys at with that? Rex, where you at with that?
It's one of those things, like, it's hard to say how good they are when their team is the worst in the league. Like, they're so bad, but you want to say you're one of the best. It's like, well, if you're so good, why is your team literally the worst team? So that's what makes it hard to make that sort of argument. It's like you should have been able to win more than that if you're legitimately that much better, But it's not to say it couldn't work, but like, I mean, look at the roster that roster was.
They weren't trying.
They were not. You cannot say they were trying. Like, they should have been able to beat these other teams just off just being talented. And the fact that they couldn't tells me like they just chalked it really early on and just were kind of stopped and just didn't care, played for stats, whatever.
Yeah.
Which, like, can go into a conversation too about not being a top 10 player if you're not even willing to try. Different
like
category.
He
doesn't even have the he doesn't even want to try when when his team isn't doing well.
He was just going for kills. So, like, of course it's easy to go for kills if like you're not
pad
even
your
going
stats.
for kills. If you're just padding your stats
When your teammates are literally just like head rushing in.
I know, but the question is, at the end of the day, is like, if you put Octane on a good team, he's going to be insane.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hopefully,
and
you'd think. Hopefully,
you would think, right? I mean, at the end of the day,
we saw it with 100T. He was really good,
and we've seen it. Well, we saw it in World War II. We saw it in BO4. He's been a beast.
Yeah.
And like, people will even go back to like BO3 and how good he was back then too, and like in IW, like it really is what it is. I don't know. I think I don't agree with Temp and Slasher there.
I'm sure they're just a little, I don't know, angry in the moment. Who knows?
Let's see what happens in Cold War. I mean, he's been essentially confirmed for Seattle, I would think, at this point.
Yeah.
So he's got to.
No,
do
yeah,
well.
I agree.
He has to do well in Cold War. Otherwise, it's like, well, then he might just be a selfish player. And does that?
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Good player,
he needs the team.
You know, it's another argument.
Yeah, that's a bigger question. So, we'll definitely talk more about Seattle here in a second as well. But the last piece of news here was kind of like 4v4. The whole discussion. Hastro was on a conversation with ESPN Esports as well, or no, with Bryce Tacular. No free shoutouts. And he basically said that the 4v4 decision, the decision to go to 4v4, he attributes 80% of it to the players, which is interesting because I think a lot of the community kind of hopped on the owners who are trying to save money bandwagon. But Hastro is adamant in saying that was not the case at all. That owners were very willing to play 5v5. They would have been just fine playing 5v5, and that the players were the ones that pushed for 4v4 this whole time.
Yeah, I personally was surprised when Krim tweeted that out and like kind of like went off on like saying like, you know, this is a stupid decision, and like, you know, it was like cost cutting and stuff like that. Like, but like when that was announced, you saw every pro was so happy, and so like obviously there was this massive push for 4v4 from all the pros, but then like, you know, again,
it's just weird because
he, you know, to his credit, he was probably really angry. They were just world champs and then had to drop Clay, right?
Right. Like that sucks
so bad.
That
sucks so bad. So yeah, you know, maybe it could have been handled differently, but I wouldn't say it was because of cost cutting.
Right. And Krim said that he was one of, out of the 12 owners, only 2 owners told a player, and Hastro told Krim.
Yeah. So
about it early on, and then Krim. Did we talk about this last podcast? How he like? Oh no, because that was on the podcast where he's talking about it. We should have just talked about the podcast,
honestly.
But he was talking about how this is Bunny Trail, but Krim was like, "Yeah, Hastro told me," and I was like, "You know what? It's going to get inside all the minds of all of our opponents if I tell them it's going 4v4, because then they're going to be playing selfishly, and we're going to be playing for the win because I know my team's not gonna play like that." He was playing mind games, man.
I know.
Everyone's playing in Crim 6 world, man.
Yeah. Big brain plays.
Because, I mean, right? I mean, that has to affect teams.
Oh, yeah.
No, for sure it did. For sure.
Right?
Yeah. Which, again, I think it like wraps back to those who are just playing selfishly. Like,
it happens.
Then they're just going to not play to win.
Yeah.
Well, he said he only told like 2 teams. Who knows?
But you know that spreads like wildfire.
Probably, yeah.
You know, like you tell one guy, that's gonna tell someone, that's gonna tell. It just happens.
I think it's hard to say. It's like I think we've seen all year that most of the players wanted 4v4. I don't think any of them were like, we don't want that. I think most of them wanted 4v4 and knew that's kind of like the better route to go. And then the owners kind of knew that's what the players wanted, so the owners did that. And they also thought, hey, we can cut some costs this way too. So win-win for everybody. It just kind of screws over Empire. And like, maybe like one or FaZe
or Huntsmen, yeah. I mean, realistically, Hastro threw out that like he just thinks 9 of the 12 teams wanted the league to be more competitive. AKA, they have a better chance of winning in 4v4 than in 5v5 because the rosters don't have to be as deep, you know?
Right. I mean, it cut costs and the players want it. I mean, that's an org's dream for most people, probably.
Yeah, like, exactly. So
they don't care if it's 4v4 or 5v5.
At the end of the day, it makes sense.
For views.
But it just sucks. It sucks so bad for so many players. Again, we're going to talk more about, I think, the amateur scene next week and all of that. But, I mean, we have a lot to talk about with Rostermania and sneak peek. Hottest Operators is happening today for you OGs.
Wow.
It's happening, baby.
Yeah.
So stick around for that because it's going to be a blast. We're turning it into like a game. It's going to be fun. But, I mean, do you guys want to get into Rostermania? Do you want to make it happen?
Let's
talk about. I mean, should we just do the best in the game drop because YOLO?
No,
let's do it. Which roster is going to form that's going to be the best in the game? We've always got to spin
You always got something.
We got to spin it somehow.
We got to spin it into it somehow. But I mean. So last time around, we did our predictions for Rostermania. I mean, some of the direction has gone like in a similar way. But honestly, there's been more movement. Unlike Ninja, there's been a lot of movement. And there's been a lot more movement than we thought there was going to be. And I mean, before we get into any of like the specific like news, I guess I want to hear like each of your guys' like biggest surprise so far. Like what move so far surprised you the most? Rex, fire away.
I mean, Rokkr getting nuked, that like just happened, I think.
Yeah, that was
I don't know
today's
if
news.
I expected them definitely to drop players. A full nuke was a bit surprising to me, I think. Was probably the most surprising thing.
Yeah. I would say so.
For me, it was honestly Toronto's decision on not cutting Bance and letting go of Classic.
Yeah.
That was weird to me.
Yeah.
Not sure what happened there.
Well, again, we don't know for a fact that Bance is officially signed, but they haven't announced that he's not signed.
Yeah, they've confirmed 6 are free agents, and the 4 that are left are Cammy, Kleenex,
Method Bance. But Cammy and Kleenex were confirmed, and they haven't said anything about Method and Bance. And Method's tweeted out the weird like my watch has ended, right? Like the GIF.
Yeah.
And
so I guess those aren't confirmed.
They're not officially confirmed yet, which
No.
is
You
weird.
would think they would, if they're releasing those 2 players, they would release the other 2 if they weren't going to be on the team. So who knows?
It is weird.
It's just weird though, but they would have already announced that. So I'm not sure why. So I guess, I mean, before I even hear your other big surprise, I mean, at this point with the scheduling, so as of today or this morning, like as Monday at 2 a.m. or whatever, all teams had to decide on whether or not they were going to renew contracts. And now there's like a little bit of a waiting period that gives teams this like time to strategize and players time to like figure out their rosters or how they want to be. But September 14th is when teams can begin negotiating deals with players. So we're not going to have any more official news unless it's like teams finally announcing their decisions on renewing contracts until September 14th when things can start to happen. But even then, I wouldn't expect any official announcements for at least a little while after that as well. When it comes to players actually signing their deals, we're only going to get the leaks from CDL Intel about potential rumors and stuff from here on out for at least a while now. But I mean, yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, big surprises. I agree with you. Those were big surprises.
Definitely.
Man, I mean, at the end of the day, where do we even want to start overall? There's so many ways to go.
I know, because we're probably gonna release this podcast, right? And then
something's gonna happen.
Something's gonna happen where it just makes it completely mute
in the next 16 hours before this thing gets out.
So that's the fun part about trying to do all this.
I know, but you're not doing like a live show where it's not going to go live right away. I mean, I guess before we talk about any individual team as well, I thought it was interesting in the podcast, no free shoutouts, Krim like was talking about like the deficit of main SMGs in the 4v4 meta moving forward and how like he felt like a lot of teams are going to be hogging the top main SMGs at the top, and then a lot of flexes are going to be forced into running as a main SMG, like kind of near the bottom of the list. And I think that is something we kind of have to consider when talking about these teams and like these rosters, because it's going to get kind of wacky with the roles, at least early on. You know, I mean, thoughts on that?
I mean,
Rex?
It is what it is. Like, I don't know what to say. It's like, yeah, the flexes are going to be moving to those SMG roles, but they're flexes for a reason. I think a lot of them are going to be able to carry over well enough to kind of keep their spot as an SMG. Like, let's look at a player, I don't know, like Alex or something on the Rokkr, and like, let's say he doesn't get on another roster. I mean, another flex is like, it's just going to be hard to tell if Alex was really going to be that much better of an SMG than like another flex player. And plus, going in, you don't know, maybe you're going to need that flex player to be running 2 ARs, 2 SMGs, or whatever it might be.
Right. And like, speaking of the Rokkr specifically, I mean, again, like on the podcast, Krim was talking about the Rokkr situation specifically. And he said, like, man, I was messaging Alex, Silly, and Asim throughout the year, like, dude, you guys are in a tough spot, man. And like, obviously he's pretty low on Assault and God RX, because he was like those guys are just playing for kills. They're playing slow. They're playing at the back of the map. Like they're leaving you out to dry. It's basically like what Krim was saying. And he was gassing up silly Alex in a sim all year privately in that way. And it's just interesting that all of them end up not even coming back at the end of the day to the Rokkr. And that's why I'm wearing the hoodie today, by the way, to commemorate their absolute
nukage,
obliteration.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I agree with you that like it's hard to say like how much better is Alex going to be as a main sub than a flex coming in and playing that role. Like even like if you force Arcitys to have to run a main sub because it's a 3 SMG meta, if he's going to FaZe, who knows? Yeah, but I agree. I agree with that. Like that's an interesting conversation to have. But like that makes you think that like a guy like Alex is going to get picked up by someone because he's that main SMG who had a pretty good year, all things considered.
Yeah, I would think he gets picked up, to be honest. But yeah.
Right. So you want to go down the list here with rumors and just start from the top and work our way down then?
Okay.
I suppose so. It's probably the best way to do it, honestly.
Alrighty. Let's do it. So let's start with OpTic Gaming and kind of the ins and outs of OpTic Gaming right now. I mean, the out, OpTic Dashy supposedly is no more. So he removed the OpTic Gaming from his bio. Yep. And I mean, the rumors for a long time now. I mean, last week, CDL Intel tweeted he expects Arcitys to head to FaZe. He expects Dashy to head to the Huntsmen. And he was at the time expecting Priestahh to head to OpTic Gaming. Today, he tweeted an update on the Priestahh situation and said that Priestahh is looking or expanding his options. So again, we're not sure how that's working out. I'd imagine like there's the communication between teams right now because teams can't negotiate with players, but teams could negotiate with teams about like, all right, well, these guys are staying. They're looking to move to this team. Like, how are these negotiations going to work out? And so if there's like a failed negotiation, then maybe that could prevent guys like Priestahh from going to OpTic or going from, insert team here. So that's something to keep on the radar while we're looking for all this news. But I mean, what's your reaction to that news specifically? Like the OpTic Dashy, like Dashy heading to Huntsmen, FaZe, Arcitys, Priestahh, potentially OpTic. Rexley, just kick it off.
I mean, I think Dashy going to Huntsmen. I mean, yeah, I think that's definitely something that could happen. Scump thinks Dashy is great. Formal's okay with Dashy. I mean, if Envoy and Dashy, I mean, that's pretty deadly. And plus, but who's going to be your main AR? It's going to be Formal, and Dashy has said that he kind of wants that role.
Yeah.
If Dashy is okay with being, that flex of being a sub, then maybe if the meta ends up being like 2 AR and some maps or whatever, then he'll be running the AR. I could see it working, but it depends where Dashy's at, if he's okay running an SMG or not. Because Formal, I don't think is ever going to be doing that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is interesting, like with the whole news. The roster worries me off the rip. Not that they're going to be nasty at the beginning of the year, guaranteed. And we saw that with OpTic the past two. We saw that with OpTic 2 years ago, like in BO4. We saw that with the Huntsmen this year. They were really, really, really good at the beginning of the year.
But when things go wrong,
and then when things go wrong, or they lose motivation to keep grinding, and then they just never can get back to what they were at the beginning of the year, and then they get frustrated, and then things start breaking apart.
Yeah,
and like a Dashy Scump combo is could easily turn into that again. I mean, is that the biggest worry?
Yeah. Hot take.
Oh,
I think Formal and Scump need to part ways.
It's not going to happen though.
It's not going to, but I think
that's a hot take from you though.
I think if they both want success, they need to part ways.
I agree. But I don't think it'll happen because if I'm being completely honest, I think they found their comfortable spot with the Huntsmen. Formal gets paid well there.
Oh, no. Yeah,
they're killing content.
That's the thing that's so frustrating being a Formal fan. Formal, you're awesome. Don't, when I say this.
We know you're watching Formal.
He's like, he can very well succeed and live off not winning. Yeah. And so he has a nice insurance policy with creating content, right?
But he doesn't get off the game though. He grinds.
No, he does. But like, does he force others to grind with him?
Generally not.
No. So like, that's where like someone like And like, this obviously didn't work out, with Gunless, when like you need someone with that.
But I'm sure that's why
mentality.
they thought it was going to work. It's kind of like to be the general of the team, like no, ironic.
Yeah.
The general of the team.
general of the team. Yeah.
But like the commander in chief to kind of keep guys in order. But obviously Scump didn't like that. I mean, he didn't like the vibe killer.
No.
Scump has never liked the vibe killers.
Well, here's the thing with Scump is he definitely brings good vibes and he has fun, but during regular season, Scump was not this amazing player. But then once it's champs time, it's like, all right, now everything matters.
Now it's time to try.
For these guys, nothing mattered before that, basically. And now, it's like...
Well, I mean, again, and look at BO4. What happened? It was Scump. It was Scump and OpTic dominating the first event of the year. They looked insane.
Yep.
And then Scump was just ho-hum, and OpTic was ho-hum until
Champs.
Yep. And then Scump dominated at Champs and was the best player on OpTic at Champs. And then they finished third, So it's just like, I don't know. There seems to be a little bit of a theme going on right now with how Scump teams are playing. And when you pair it with Dashy, you kind of seems to have a very similar mentality to how they play.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But holy moly, the gun skill in a 4v4 scenario where you can like ace, where where 1v4s are actually possible.
Yes.
And 1v3s are way more possible. And 2v2, and like you end up in so many 2v2s, and the gun skill is so important. And like how that plays out inside of hard points, that roster's individual talent is nuts.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be insane. It's just scary long term.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
For
scary
sure.
during regular season for sure. Maybe
So I can
champs
see that
time is
argument from
different.
Huntsmen fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I totally see that for sure. I mean, it feels like it's happening though, right? I mean, like that feels like it's going to happen.
Yeah. I think it's pretty much guaranteed. Guaranteed, but it like seems like
It feels like a lock.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I agree. I mean, okay. So from then there's the bunny trails. It's the Arcitys going to FaZe bunny trail, which it's feeling more and more likely like it's happening. But yeah, I wanted to get your take on that specifically because it's a weird situation.
That's very strange.
Which it's like, well, if Arcitys is leaving Huntsmen, I mean, you imagine like it's leaving because Preston is being dropped, but Preston is not going to FaZe. I mean, there's just no way. So. And maybe Pristini can't find a team, so Arcitys like, all right, I just got to find a team. He's already been dropped for Huntsman.
Yeah.
So, but to find him on FaZe, that means FaZe has to drop another player other than Priestahh.
What you think if Arcitys is willing to run the main or Arcitys or Cell, you could drop Major.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know. I mean, it just feels like if Priestahh and Major Maniac are headed out the door. Yeah. And like, what I want to know is it because is Priestahh headed out the door because Arcitys wants to play with FaZe, or is Arcitys headed to FaZe because Priestahh's headed out the door?
I know. That's the thing. And then too, I was so convinced that Arcitys and Pristini were a duo. And if Arcitys is on FaZe,
where's
there's no
Pristini going?
Well,
Pristini's not coming with him.
Pristini's going to go challengers.
Really?
That's just
see, I don't think so.
So
it
weird.
Depends, if Pristini can't find a team, like obviously Arcitys is probably getting teams a lot easier than his brother is.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So, it's already hard enough to get one person like to line up this team, but now you have to get you and your brother as like a duo package to get two other players to play with you. It's like people don't think too highly of Pristini, think highly of Arcitys, so it's like maybe they're just like, well, we're just not playing with Pristini. You're not good enough to really be worth it,
Oh.
So maybe
that would
Arcitys
be tough, man.
I could see Pristini ended up on like Rokkr.
I could see. I mean,
with a Rokkr.
I have my theory for maybe that, but yeah.
No.
See, I still think there's a world like Pristini and Gunless team together. Like Pristini and Gunless kind of like end up being like not like a duo necessarily per se. But again, like Gunless announced that he's a free agent, but Pristini hasn't announced that.
No.
So
right.
Pristini got re-signed. Is he going to play as a sub and just chill?
Could.
Maybe.
Be a two-way player on the Huntsmen, but like if Arcitys isn't there, then like that's surprising.
Yeah.
You imagine wherever Arcitys go, Pristini would be the sub there, or Pristini will be a starter.
See, my thought kind of from the beginning has been Gunless and Pristini to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
But if Gunless is a free agent, then it's just I don't know. It is a little interesting again because they're from that area. Like Pristini and Arcitys are from that area, so like I could see him wanting to play for Seattle. And if he can get on a team with Octane and Gunless, I don't know why you wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like if Octane and Gunless want to play with Pristini or not, which is I think they might.
Yeah,
I mean I could see a world where Gunless really wants to play with Pristini.
I mean, I
Definitely.
do too. But remember at the beginning of the year, Octane didn't want to team with Gunless.
Right.
And he said later, it's like, I would now when his team's bad. But now it's like the season's over. It's a fresh restart. Octane gets to pick his team again. He might be like, well, I still don't want Gunless, unless
Right.
it's like,
No, for sure. I could see that world too. Man, the problem with this conversation is that you can just go like now you can go from we went from Arcitys, the bunny trails are insane with Rostermania.
Let's cut it right there.
Okay, let's go back
on the next one.
Do you want to give like what are your thoughts on like right now with like want to finalize the Arcitys conversation?
Okay.
Right now, do you feel like Arcitys is going to FaZe? Because I feel like yes, but does that rely on Priestahh wanting to leave?
There has to be another player besides Priestahh that leaves too. Like they're gonna. Have to drop
Major Maniac would then leave.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but Major wasn't that bad this year, so it's like
I think Major's.
But if you choose between Major and Arcitys and the main R,
you're gonna choose
Arcitys.
Arcitys.
Choose Arcitys.
I guess, but
I would say yeah.
You feel like it's gonna happen, but is it reliant on Priestahh wanting to leave?
Yes.
So like if the
Priestahh
deal
would need to leave.
So if Priestahh doesn't go to OpTic, does he stay on FaZe?
Yes.
But if he stays on FaZe, then
Then Arcitys is from
what we've heard from CDL Intel, he's pretty confident that Arcitys is headed to FaZe. Yeah. So we're gonna. I feel like I'm pretty confident with saying that's pretty possible at this point. So then the question is, I think now we need to deal with Priestahh.
Mm-hmm.
So Priestahh to OpTic was the originally reported, and then today CDL Intel was like, I don't know about this now. It's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
If Priestahh doesn't go, does Priestahh and Octane make sense? Priestahh Octane in Seattle?
That'd be a disgusting duo.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
And that's bringing back the 100T. I mean, I feel like no matter what happens, Octane's ending up with at least one guy from 100T last year.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Probably.
like, it's either going to be some, like, Enable Stan.
Yeah.
But after the news of him getting released, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. What would be cool would be like Pristini, Gunless, Priestahh, Octane, right?
Pristini, Gunless, Priestahh, Octane.
Yeah.
And I think that's very possible.
Yeah. Seattle. Yeah.
Ooh, that's an interesting combination. Okay.
Yeah, I mean the other name again, Bunny Trail, to be thrown around with Seattle, I think is John.
John too.
I think that's a very possible outcome as well, like a Gunless John, like Pristini or Priestahh / Octane duo.
Yeah,
I'm not totally sold on Gunless and Octane teaming. I'm not totally sold on that.
I'm not sold on it. I think there's a world where like Minnesota Rokkr goes really hard after Gunless and like tries to let Gunless create his own team and to kind of just build off that.
Yeah.
I could see that
The
happening.
other thing too, though, is like, I don't think players have as much. Like, I don't know. Like, you think like guys like Gunless are probably like willing to play with people to be in one of these 12 teams because again,
I agree.
There's only 48 players. Yeah,
but
Does
Octane want him? Does Octane want him? Because Octane, I mean, he has his pick. I think.
Right.
He gets to pick 3 other people to play
if
with
Octane's
him.
like, yo, I want you in Seattle, people are coming. Like,
Probably.
they are going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine
if you're
the
not
majority
a top
of
3
players.
team, yeah.
If you're not currently on a top 3 team, then for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Gunless, I don't think he really has his choice of the litter with players because I don't think he's on like great terms with a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I agree. Okay, so it's like navigating a maze. It's like navigating a maze, and there's so many what if scenarios.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, so Priestahh, where if you had to go gauge a most likely spot for Priestahh right now, I'm saying either Seattle or OpTic. And with the tweet today, I would have for sure said OpTic until today because I mean that roster with Priestahh would have been dope. It would have been Slasher, Kenny, Tish, which feels like a lock.
Yeah.
By the way, those 3 seem like they're a lock to be on OpTic. Yeah. And then the 4th, Priestahh having been the 4th would have been dope. That would have been a sick team.
That's a really good combo. Like I could definitely see that, but maybe Priestahh was gonna go OpTic, but then he got an offer to play with Octane in Seattle. So it's like that makes you take a few more days to kind of think about things.
Yeah, and then seeing who else you're gonna get as your 3rd and 4th with Octane.
Exactly.
You know?
Maybe that's what Priestah's waiting on is to be like, well, who else is Octane gonna get? You know, as the other 2, if he's on that team.
Yeah. I mean, and now, like, is there a world where it's like Priestahh, Zuma, Octane?
Attach, because I mean Zuma and Attach.
Well,
are
no,
a duo
because
at this point.
So, okay, let's move to New York then.
Okay.
Let's move to New York. Again, guys, I don't know how you navigate this conversation without it being too like confusing and insane. But the New York news is that Temp is gone, and he's not going to be on New York next year. And this was kind of reported by not this, but the whole news was reported by Tactical Rab and CDL Intel. We're kind of like, we're hearing Clay might be going to New York, and that's what they were talking about. And supposedly that would be replacing Accuracy. And the roster would be Attach Mac Clay, and then a fourth, which would probably not be Accuracy or Temp.
No, wait, Zuma, I thought Zuma was the rumor to stay on Subliners.
No, it'd be Attach. And then either Zuma, and then maybe Zuma.
Yeah.
Zuma was the maybe.
We don't know about Zuma.
But Zuma was tweeting some cryptic stuff in replies to Methods. Because Methods replied, and then our Methods tweeted his, I'm off watch now, and then Zuma was like, dude, same.
Yeah.
So who knows? These are all just, you can get down the bunny hole so quick, or the rabbit hole so quick, but I mean,
I don't like
far,
that roster.
I mean, the Clay to New York thing feels really weird.
Yeah.
Man, people are obsessed with Clay playing with Zuma and Attach again like that, and like
that roster's just so...
It's just so lackluster. If he does it, I feel like it's Clay just trying to find another home to be a part of. I don't think that team will do much in the league, to be honest.
I mean, really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why?
I mean, they were on that FaZe team all together, and like they were good, but like it just always came up short in everything,
Yeah. I mean, Sam, what do you think about it?
Yeah, when I first heard it, I wasn't too excited for Clay. Like, again, I think Clay,
what's the ideal situation for Clay then?
You going on here? My theory?
Build his own team.
Of who? Yeah, okay, I would love to hear your theory. Let's talk about Clay.
My theory, Clay on Rokkr.
Again, that's possible.
And then he forms his 3 other players that he wants, because Rokkr is that type of ownership that's going to give you that home. Brian Saints is that coach. So it means there's that somewhat of a connection there. I don't think they have bad blood, even though they got rid of him. Maybe there is, and that will stop it, but I don't know. But Clay being the captain of the Rokkr, like that literally fits perfectly to me in my mind. Like it's Gary Vee, it's another like company like that, and like has that same like winning mentality. Clay can form it how he wants, and they're gonna form like a sort of like family there that Clay likes to have with his teams.
Yeah,
it's the same.
But like,
situation.
who would be his 3 players though? That's what I'm wondering. Like, who ends up being there?
I mean, that's the point of like, well, what SMGs want to go with Clay? How good do they think Clay actually is?
Pristini.
Yeah, I mean that's where you think.
Again, that's very possible.
I don't mean that's where you come in with it. Like Gunless is iffy to me. Clayster might try it because they've never teamed together. They might try it. Clayster might try it, but I don't know.
I mean, I think they just have some fun. It's silly, Priestahh, Gunless, Clay. It's basically like the E United homage team, and then you just make it happen.
That'd be funny.
It's not gonna happen. I know it's not gonna happen. But I mean, again,
Silly's on the team. I mean, I don't know, but
I think it's more possible. I think it's still pretty likely that he goes to New York. I think it's pretty likely. I mean, that team with Clayster, Attach, Enable, Zuma back in IW was they were a good team. They finished second like multiple times, or at least second, third.
Yeah,
they were like a top 3 team at times. I think let me look.
The meta the meta now, Josh, is you gotta find your young guns who are gonna slay out for you.
And then you have Mac.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been hyping Mac up, sure, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
What do you guys think of Zuma? Do you think he's
a solid player? He's a really solid player.
Zuma is incredibly solid. I'm not gonna say he's incredibly good, but he's incredibly solid.
I mean, he classifies as a good player. He does,
of course,
for sure.
See, like to me, like I think Rex, you're probably in the same boat. Is like those guys are all solid, but nothing more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Those are solid players, but like where's your like?
Are they champions?
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no there's no
magic.
wow factor.
There's no magic to it.
they did win an event this year.
They
Yeah.
did great, but it
It was a 9mm meta. Again, it was a little fluky,
Yeah.
but
that's really like all I'm thinking. And again, Clayster could make something of it. Obviously, he can do that sort of thing. But that's just my first thoughts. It's just like they're solid, but
Clayster is a guy who molds his team. If he doesn't have players he can mold, the team is just not going to do as well as it could. That's
But,
why
like-
I'm against it. But Clayster might go for it because it will be a solid team, and maybe he's at the point where he's okay with that. But I don't know.
I mean,
but if
then
Clayster
what's your
wants to win
ideal
another
situation
championship,
for-
it can't be that. He needs players that he
then
can
what's your
mold.
ideal situation for New York then? Mac plus attach and what?
I mean, Priestahh. You need some of these younger. You need.
Okay, yeah, but a Priestahh needs to go to everyone then.
I mean, yeah, there's
But Priestahh,
that thing
Zuma,
is probably the issue that's probably
attach.
is happening is they're running into. But I just don't think more veterans with Clayster is going to work so much because that's been Clayster's calling card is molding new people into turning them into champions.
I mean, yes.
And he's good at. He did it twice, so it's like if he wants to do it again, I think he can. But it's just not going to be that squad.
Yes, but like we saw that like Simp and Abizi it didn't need. I mean, maybe last year they needed the veterans, but this year they didn't have a veteran on that team and they were dominant.
Yeah, but they didn't
Like,
need it this year,
did
and they
Clay
didn't
just
win
get
champs
blessed?
this year. I mean, Clay in a way, but he set that up.
Again,
he
I
set
love
that
Clay.
up.
He's a beast.
The fact that
But,
he did
like-
it twice in a row is not by mistake. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't think. Are we underestimating Clay's ability to like play with good players? Like, I mean, it's not like Hook is just some young gun. I mean, he's been playing in the league for now. This was his third year, but after AW, so I mean,
But
really
it's-
his fourth.
I don't even know. It's a personality thing. It's like you had Clayster and Crim6 who were kind of like your vets. Clayster is more of like the personable, like emotional guy who kept everyone friends. They're a tight knit group. They're all friends.
Crim's the general.
Crim's kind of more like the general, less
The
kind
captain.
of involved like that. But he involved Crim with it. So like they all began to like each other. They all were on the same page. And it's not just because they practice all the time together. It's because they had like this emotional connection to each other. They're able to do these things.
So would you rather have Zuma would you rather have Clay have a lineup on the Rokkr where it's like Clay and then insert solid veteran plus 2 AM guys?
I mean, I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't know about AM guys. Again, AMs are always a risk, but I'm not totally against that idea.
I mean,
I
it's
prefer-
just
I would
like
almost
if
prefer
you're
to-
Clay, I feel like you'd rather take the guarantee of being a solid team than take the risk on like 1 veteran plus 2 AMs and like see what you can get. Unless you're saying that they're gonna that's just why like I just don't know. Unless that's what they're trying to do on New York. It's gonna try to be Clay, Mac, attach plus another young guy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
what if
I just
What-
don't know, man, about attach and like I don't. He
I think
needs
attach is a
people-
really good player.
I think attach is great. Don't get me wrong. I think attach is great, but like Clay, he needs players that he can mold, and he's friends with
I
those
thought
guys.
we're going in circles though because I just don't know where you're like your end all be all like what's the best case scenario people.
It's
for
like a
Clay
personality.
for Clay at this point.
Needs to be like the
Then
leader
who's the
of
peeper?
that team. When somebody has a question about how do they do this interview, how do they do this, they talk to Clay about how are they supposed to handle this situation, how are they supposed to do this. Like, but attach, they're friends, they're really good friends. But attach isn't going to go to Clay being like, "Hey, man, I don't know." He's not
I
going to.
mean, it's not like
that.
Hook was.
Who knows? Hook's a pretty shy kid. Like Hook was
Well,
not.
then maybe attach is.
Oh, come on, we know attach isn't. Like attach, either,
I'm just saying.
Clayster
I don't really know where you're at with this. Sam,
Clayster
break,
is a guy
break the tie
who-
here.
Clayster instills confidence into his teammates.
what if Clay picks up mental?
Just goes for another
Goes for it.
non-COD guy.
That's a risk, though, man. I don't know.
Oh, so was Shotzi.
Shots what's a
Yeah,
huge
but I
risk.
guess I was Halo to that. Yeah, I mean, you're right. But Gears is not the same. Third person.
We just haven't really seen it as much.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I could see both. I could see Clay starting a whole new roster on Rokkr, but I could also see Clay kind of maybe being a little scared of the risk and saying,
yeah.
I'll take this, solid roster on New York and make some waves with them. So
But he's trying. Is
I
New
honestly don't
York
know.
is New York a familial type of organization? That's what Clayster
He could
feels
make
like.
it
What he
into-
wants.
he
could make it.
Try to
I
change
agree
it.
that the Rokkr feels more like Clay, but I think the roster that he can get at New York feels more like Clay.
I don't know.
We could probably spend.
That's a safe roster. Don't get me wrong. That is definitely a safe roster to take. If he's out of options, he'll probably take it, maybe. But if you want to win something,
Yeah, I was
and
a little
want to build
surprised by-
something great, I don't think it's going to be that.
I really thought that New York was going to stick with like Mac, attach Zuma, and then like accuracy.
Mhm.
I thought that was what was going to happen. I'm surprised that they were willing. I mean, like, unless Clay was like, yo, I want to play with you. And they're like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah.
But like, it's just interesting because I just don't know. Like, you'd think that Clay would want a pretty big contract, but maybe not. Maybe he's willing to play for like whatever like accuracy he was playing for. And like, I don't know.
Subliners are rich, though.
I mean, yeah. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, again, what do you, at this point, what do you think feels the most likely? Let's just go by what we think is most. Again, we're ranting on like predictions at this point.
Mhm.
What do you
Yeah.
feel like is the most likely outcome? Rex, what's most likely for Clay?
Bro, you're gonna make me say it. I mean, sure, subliners. Why not?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's all what
so
the rumors say. But
salty.
how am I supposed to say anything against subliners? Though it's like that's what the rumor was. What like I'm gonna say? No, it's definitely the Rokkr. I have no other intel. I just have my gut feeling about it.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I feel that. I mean,
Yeah.
you could go. You could just. You could full send.
You just go for it.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. I would way personally. I would way much more like to see Clay build a team.
Try it on the Rokkr or
than-
something.
than go to Subliners, but
Yeah, man.
if we're trusting rumors, and I feel like 80% of Call of Duty rumors turn out.
Yeah. Generally, it's pretty good.
So I would assume Subliners.
Yeah, because I mean that was the thing. Rab and CDL Intel felt pretty confident about this one that was happening, and then New York tweeted about Clay, Attach, and Zuma today.
That was so weird.
which was really weird.
Such a weird.
They did like a documentary about why they broke up on FaZe.
I know. It
Like,
was
what?
So strange.
And
like,
then Zuma was like, "Are you trying to court me?" Like,
Yeah.
I mean, or Clay was like, "You were trying
Yeah.
to court me." So
it was so.
it was just weird.
Yeah.
Man, I just don't. I hope. Honestly, I'll be disappointed if that's what happens. But
I think the roster might end up just being Zuma, Attach, Clay, and then Mac.
I hope they're good. But man, I could easily see them being an
That's a
incredibly
fun roster. I like
average-
that roster.
It's incredibly average. Like it's average to above average.
Really?
Okay. We're gonna go in circles again. Can
Here we go.
We gotta go next step. I think we did
I
20
hope for the
minutes of
best.
the
I hope
circle.
they're great. I hope they're great. If that's what happens.
All right, London,
I don't know,
Wuskin,
man.
Scraps. They're
Yes.
gone.
Yes, they are gone.
So they are unrestricted free agents at this point that we know. I mean, when it comes to London, I mean, where are you at with this squad? Like, do you have any read on what London's going to do? Any read on what Wuskins and Scraps are going to do? Is there a world where Wuskins and Scraps heads to Toronto? I'm just throwing out rumor. This. There's no backing there. I just thought that it might be possible. You have like a Cammy Kleenex Scraps Wuskin.
What's interesting is that Scraps is not confirmed free agent, but Wuskin is a confirmed free agent.
Right.
Yeah, because Wuskins has like flat out said it.
Yeah.
Scraps hasn't, which I mean, it seems like
Do you think
all
they'd
at this
split him
point.
up?
I don't know. I mean, again,
I don't
Scraps
think
has
they'd
a
split
massive
up.
contract. All the rumors have said he's like getting paid like $300K
Jeez.
supposedly. I don't know how true that is, but that's like the rumors.
I could see maybe Paris takes in some of those guys, and then like maybe take some from like Team War or something, like
It's possible.
Singularity Team War. But I don't know how many people we're gonna see come from the AM scene with the whole 4v4.
Yeah. It's really surprising how little intel we have right now. I mean, we have word on like Chicago,
Yep.
OpTic potentially,
Mhm.
at least three of them.
Yep.
We have some word on New York, FaZe, and that's kind of where we're at right now. I mean,
Yep.
all the other teams are basically like real big question marks
Mhm.
besides maybe one or two players. The Mutineers we've heard nothing about,
No.
absolutely nothing, and so
Mhm.
it's just kind of whack. It's like I feel like we should have a little bit more information. Like, yo, CDL Intel, pick it up, homie.
No
Come
joke.
on, man. Like, what are you
Come
guys
on,
doing
man.
out there? Come on, man.
Give us that juicy intel.
Give us that juice.
Yeah.
No, I feel that. But yeah, I mean, London Royal Ravens. I mean, if you had to think about a spot for Wuskins and Scraps, like what comes to mind for you? I mean, you said Paris, maybe like
Paris.
pairing them with somebody. I feel like they're more like I mean, Alex is a free agent now. Like, I feel like there's a world where you go Wuskins, Scraps, Dylan, Alex, and just full send with that and see what happens. That'd be kind of fun.
That'd be a cool roster.
I mean, it's like SMGs, but Wuskins can run an AR in flex if needed. I mean, Scraps can. Scraps can flex if needed.
Yeah. Because like with the Paris too, I think just Kismet is the official confirmed free agent, right?
Yeah.
He's the only one
Because he tweeted
confirmed.
about it.
Yeah. So, I don't know if Paris really wants to hold on to any of those guys, but if they do, props to them.
Yeah, I mean, with New York, like Saint said that their whole team was let go, but then they were like, he said that in a Twitter video, he was like, there's a world where some of them come back as maybe a starter or potentially as a sub. So like, and this is what we probably should have mentioned this earlier, is that it feels like a lot of teams are trying to reset the contract market. Like, all right, we got a little bit too crazy last year in our first year of the season. Like, maybe we were overpaying a few guys a little bit too much, So, and that's why they don't renew the contract and they might just re-sign these guys. And I still think that's pretty likely for like Wuskins and Scraps to still end up on London, but at like a cheaper price.
Yeah.
I think that's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, where are you at with that? Do you have any idea with those guys, Rex?
I mean, no, I think that's definitely possible, to be honest. I mean, who do you think they're dropping on Ravens? Like, let's say Scraps and Wuskin, they go free agent, and they're going to come back with cheaper contracts.
Yeah.
And then they're keeping Zero, I'm guessing, honestly.
I mean, Zero's proven it in games in basically every COD that he can be a good player, a really good player. And he was at his best in 4v4 CODs.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
In World War II.
So I imagine,
And
honestly,
IW.
I'm picking Zero as like my guy who's going to stay on that team for sure. But then what do you do with Shawnee and Dylan?
I would imagine Shawnee's kind of screwed.
Really? But
Even though he had a great champs.
He had an amazing, he carried his team in champs practically at points.
I know.
So, and then he's also gone on different podcasts. He's also gone on with the owner of the London Royal Ravens. So he probably has a decent relationship with the guy. That's what makes me think maybe Shawnee is staying. They've already told him, yeah, you're going to stay.
I mean, it's possible, I mean, like, yeah. I mean, he was on that, again, like Scraps, Wuskin, and Shawnee were on that Unilad squad in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So like they've teamed together in 4v4. They were pretty successful, I think, at the end of the year, maybe. With the Unilad squad, they got pretty good at the end of the year, right? If I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I could see a world where that happens. And like Zed was their fourth for Unilad back in World War II, so it's like maybe that's possible. But Dylan is a big question mark for me. I have no clue what's happening with Dylan at this point.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be going back to challengers, man.
That seems impossible. That seems impossible. That
Dude,
Dylan
there
could
are
go
going to
back
be
to Challenger.
surprising people in challengers. I cannot be convinced that we're going to see some names in challengers that are like, wow. But it has to happen.
For a guy like Dylan, I mean, and any of the European guys who end up in challengers, it sucks so bad because you're playing in the EU scene all year.
Yeah.
That
But
sucks
EU
so
is, like,
bad.
Arguably the better people,
Yeah, I mean, I think, yes, but not for pay. Like
less
that's
prize pool.
yeah.
Right.
So that's the big thing for me is like I don't know. I mean, man, that would be tough. That would be really, really tough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you're sending a lot of people out of the job here. Like, you have brands who have to choose between picking up newer, younger players who have the potential to be great, or they pick up like safe bets. But I
Right.
mean, usually your first season are safe bets. After that, that's when you start making some crazy changes.
Yeah, I mean, and if the guys and a lot of guys, who are making the decisions are guys who came from the 4v4 era.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the older COD Pro guys that are now, GMs and managers or whatever and coaches came from the 4v4 era. And like maybe they're more willing to then trust the pros who played in the 4v4 era well in, IW and World War II than they are to trust guys like Dylan who made their come up in BO4.
Mm-hmm.
And
Maybe.
And like that could be the X factor for a lot of the guys who really dominated in BO4 World War II is that, if you're choosing between the guy who played well in World War II and in IW versus the guy who played well in BO4 and Modern Warfare, and those are your two options, you might go with the 4v4 tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Could you imagine if Dylan's in the amp scene? Oh.
Yeah, no,
There's
Oh,
gonna be people there that's
No,
just
someone's
crazy
gotta
see
pick him
that,
up.
man.
You're so right, Rex. Like we're like, we're trying to put a place for everyone, but there's not going to be a place for everyone.
Unless you're starting to talk like amateur, like or two-way player type contracts, then like I would imagine someone picks up Dylan with the flexibility of 2-year contracts this year that like be our 7th guy or be our 6th guy.
I mean, he could be sure he'll go
two-way contract,
AM scene, whatever. But
yeah, with a 2-way contract, yeah.
But
it's possible, but like it's just crazy. It's literally mind blowing and it hurts.
I mean, again, that's what I'm excited to see is who are the players who like we've known for a while that don't get picked up and have to go to challengers or they become subs on their team. How they're gonna feel, because we know the egos in COD. Like there's gonna be some guys who are asked to be subs, and it's like they might say no, and then they don't actually get picked up by anybody, and they're like, oh wow, where do I like? I'm going to challengers. And then to see if they actually stick it out and try and go through challengers.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like if it's just, if a guy gets benched this year, they're absolutely screwed. And then you got to go down to challengers, play 2-way. I mean, it's better off this year that like, you're going to have like the 2-way contracts where you can play on different teams this year. It's like if you're signed as a sub, you don't have to team with the guy who's also your sub. That's good. But it sucks. I mean, maybe to wrap up our conversation for now, I mean, is there any guy specifically that like, do you feel like who's the biggest domino that needs to fall in your mind for like other rosters to fall into place? Like, who is it for you, Rex?
The biggest, I'm not sure what you mean, but I think
is there one guy that if once we know what this guy does, then you can like in your mind like start sorting guys out a little bit better?
Probably Arcitys.
Really?
Or maybe it's Priestahh first.
Because I feel like RC's domino may have already fallen with FaZe. It might have already been.
It's when we get a player picked up for what like these teams that have just nuked themselves.
True. Like if we know like the first guy for Rokkr or for LAG or for Paris, Paris hasn't officially nuked themselves, yes.
Yeah.
But at least for LAG and for Rokkr, I agree with you. If we know that first guy, that's pretty big.
That's gonna tell us what's happening, kind of.
Yeah. I feel like once we know where like, I think Priest is big and I think and Temp is interesting. I mean, I think we need to talk about Temp a little bit before we finish the conversation about Rostermania as well, because again, he absolutely ranted on Twitter and went off. And after he got dropped or benched, he launched up his stream immediately, and he was like, "Guys, I'm off the team. Like I'm a free agent." And he's like, "I'm mind blown." And he's like, I have no offers, and that's why I pissed. And I'm not pissed about getting dropped. I love all these guys, but I'm pissed I don't have an offer. And then he ended his stream the second he got an offer. He's like, all right, guys, I got an offer. Things you love to see, and basically just ended his stream after that. It was hilarious.
What a guy.
But I mean, if you had to guess where Temp could go, he seems like just an absolute enigma. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
No one knows. It's just like with these teams again that nuke themselves, like he could end up on a spot there, and then I just don't know if anyone in like the top 4, top 5 would drop someone for Temp. Right,
and like what guys would he like be like, I'm in, and like what guys would be like, I need Temp on my roster, And if he has an offer, that means he has somebody. I mean, that means somebody who already is locked in is offering him a spot.
I know.
So I mean, like,
I was gonna say, like, does he bring back Echo Fox from World War II with like Aqua and?
But like, Aqua's a free agent, though. So it's like, unless he's talking about an offer from a team who currently isn't on a team, like I have an offer.
I have an offer for you.
Yeah, but like that team is still trying to figure out how to get on like LAG or on Minnesota Rokkr.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the Echo Fox team just seems impossible. I mean, again, Temp and Slasher teamed for a quick moment at the beginning of World War II on Envy. Like, if Priestahh doesn't go to OpTic, could you see Temp as the 4th on OpTic?
That's literally what I was just thinking is maybe Temp could end up on OpTic.
Kenny, Temp, Tej, Slasher. That's a fun team.
That'd be an intense team.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
That would be an intense team.
I think that would give Slasher his best chance to win in a long time, I think. But I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem likely. Could you see Temp on Seattle? Is there anywhere where Octane and Temp team?
I could see Temp on Seattle. I could see Temp on Rokkr. I could see Temp on a lot of squads, to be honest.
I know. It's so hard. Like, even predict where he might go, because he literally could go on any team except for like probably FaZe, Huntsmen, and
Dallas. He said his dream team was Dallas. Shocker, because
Of course. Yeah, of course.
I mean, who doesn't want to play
I was
with
gonna say, like,
Gilly and
Yeah.
Shotzi?
Who wouldn't love that chance? But,
Yeah. Did you see that Octane said that he had an offer from Dallas
Yeah.
originally last
And he
year?
didn't want to take the shot on
Shotzi.
Shotzi. Yeah. It's
Ooh,
like, oh, bro.
that's tough. That's a tough one. Oh
Yeah.
man. But I don't know. I mean, do you guys have any other wrap up thoughts for Rostermania before we get into hottest operators real quick? Anything else I have to say? No. Yes.
I guess we'll just see.
John.
John, and I mean, yeah, John. If he doesn't go to Seattle, where does he go?
I don't
Amateur
know.
scene.
That's just gorillas. Like, it's weird to think like everyone's so like John's definitely get in. John's definitely get in, but it's like there's a lot of good players out there now who have been in there for like to give it to John would be just be kind of weird, you know?
Right. Like it feels like Major Maniac has to have a squad. Like he has to. He's Major Maniac. He's been fantastic 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
But like the pieces don't connect very well for him with his networking and guys he's played with before. You know? And like generally my thought is like, all right, who are the guys that these guys have played with before? Generally, we're going to see the reunion type situations with this year. But he's played with Gen G, he's played with FaZe, and like those guys aren't on teams. The Gen G guys aren't on teams except for Envoy.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so it's a weird situation for Major Maniac right now.
I mean, yeah, John is just a weird one. Everyone seems to think he's like amazing, and then like he's definitely coming back to the Pro League this year. But I'm like, the Pro League is like, it's really hard to get into it now. It's like, it's not 5v5. 12 people are losing their jobs, and there might be some names that are being challenges that we don't expect. Plus, you have new players from the amateur scene who are amazing as well, who could be coming in. So, like, I don't know. I don't know about John. If he gets on a team, it's because he's friends with somebody. That's the only way.
Yeah.
So Seattle is basically my only thing.
Good old
thing I can
friendship
think.
league.
Yeah.
I know. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, yeah, the last thing again, keep a eye on Mental, the Gears player, like we briefly mentioned.
Yeah.
He officially announced today that he is pursuing COD.
I just would be surprised by that.
I mean, he's seen as like the god of console Gears, of Gears on its console. Like, it's possible that teams could chase the next Shotzi a year after Shotzi. It's possible.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that as one. And like, again, we have a little bit of time. The other thought that I had with the pivot from Priestahh, right? Like the current pivot from Priestahh is maybe Priestah's time on Black Ops Cold War made him question things. Maybe he's like, oh, maybe this meta is not going to work out as what I think it's going to be. And maybe maybe I'm reading into it too much, but like, the guys who have access to the alpha, maybe they thought that, they have a little bit of an advantage in Rostermania. I don't know.
Maybe.
That's something to consider at least.
Yeah.
So again, there's going to be a ton of news in the next week with Rostermania heading into our next podcast.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine we'll have a ton to talk about next week, with next week being like the first day where teams can negotiate with players. And I would imagine almost all the players would want to have their rosters, like their set of 4, like really feeling good going into the time to be able to negotiate with teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
So-
it's going to be exciting. I'm excited.
There's a lot that's going to happen the next few days. We are all humped.
Humped. We are sure all humped. That's for sure. You heard it here first on the Best of 3 podcast. We are all humped to be here, bro.
We are hyped. We are hyped to get going to this. Hottest operators got to be acted up.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my God.
Wowzers.
Nah. Jokes. All right, guys, we got a fun game to play today. It's a long-awaited. Rex has got something cooking for us today. Guys, let's get in to hottest operators.
No way.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
That's awesome.
It's hot.
It's
hot.
baby.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, sir. I couldn't have said it better. Will,
Oh, my word.
I could not have said it better. That's hot. So how this is going to go down, Rex has a list. He's got the list, the God list, the hot list, the hottest operators of Modern Warfare. And Sam and I are going to be competing to basically guess Rex's list of hottest operators. So how it's going to go down, we thought it might be a little bit too lengthy if we were like all debating who the hottest operators are. And there's so many at this point because of all the seasons that we were like, all right, who are the hottest operators? So Rex has compiled his list. And we have to kind of nitpick his top 15.
Yes.
And basically, like, so for example, if he guesses the number one operator, the number one hottest operator on Rex's list, he gets 15 points. And then number 2 is 14, number 3 is 13,
so on and so forth.
so on and so forth. Long explanation for this hottest operators game. But boy, oh boy, Rex, are you ready for this?
I am definitely ready. Let's get into it. All right, so we're starting with Sam. Bash. You want to take a bash here on
How much preparation have you done for
top
this?
15
Not a whole lot.
I haven't either.
hottest operators. One, I need you to make your decision on what number, or you tell me the operator, and you have to explain why they are.
You have to give at least a
hot.
little reason for why you believe Rex believes they're hot.
So here's going to be the internal dilemma.
There's some
with doing
strategy to this.
Because I need to figure out how much Rex values female attractiveness versus male handsomeness and features and such.
Like Rex. I mean, how unbiased is Rex being here today?
I have no idea.
You
so
know?
Here we go. I'm going to start off with a pretty, what I assume, low-hanging fruit. Mara is for sure in your top 15.
Mara is in the top 15.
Ooh,
Yeah.
interesting. So, but now first of all, I'm very excited to see where Rex, like, you know, she's an obvious pick. You know, I mean, that's a pretty obvious pick. I think most people had her as a favorite to be top 3.
I would assume.
So I'm interested to see what Rex has to say. Also, but how we got to this point, by the way, I didn't even explain how we got here. For anyone is so confused, we're playing this game, and everyone at this point, if anyone's confused, they've already left.
Yeah.
But we're playing this game because at the beginning of the year, Rex wanted to do hot operators. It was a joke. And then we said if we were still in quarantine, we would do it. And then we said if Dallas won, we would do it. And then Dallas didn't win. But then Dallas won champs and New York won. And so that's how we're here.
and we're still technically yeah.
So long story short, Rex, I mean, you believe...
I believe Mara is a top 3 because she was one of the first. She was the first season, and I think she was the most standout operator at that time. And I think she sticks in your head as being attractive just because she was like the first season. That's what I'm going with.
All right, I those are definitely good qualities. She is number 4
Whoa!
on my list of hottest operators.
So 12 points for Sam
12 points for Sam for that one.
Okay. I thought it would be top 3.
That was
but
interesting.
okay.
I was surprised. That is number 4. Wow, that is a surprise to be sure. So, okay, my thought process is I've heard the hype all year long. I've heard the hype for one named Yegor. The hype has been there from Rex for him from Rex from the beginning.
I swear, if he's
I
top
am
3,
confident.
there's no
Rex put
way.
Yegor in the top 3. Rex, show me the money.
First things first, what are the qualities of Yegor that you appreciate?
I believe that his muscle tone, his defined features, his operator skin that has him shirtless, threw you over the top.
Oh my god! I
You're
swear.
right.
Got you going.
He's
Yegor
above-
has got me spiced up, got me sweating in my boots. He is number 1 on the list,
Bro!
But
Oh my
Yes.
the reason why is not totally the shirtless skin. Granted, that skin is amazing. It shows you so much. But the honcho skin with the hair over the front and the gangster shirt,
Wow.
jacket, that is the skin. That would give you
Man.
bonus points.
Man.
Number
15
1 on the list
points
is
for your
Yegor.
boy.
He's a boss, dude, with that.
Bro, I'm
You're not
pissed,
messing
dude.
with that game. This is a guy who goes out there with a chain on, with his hair like that, onto the battlefield. If that's not hot, I don't know what it is. That is a
Let's
man.
go. I am
That is a
hyped. I got
man
him.
with confidence.
I knew I'd heard that hype from the beginning for Yegor, and I started off hot in hottest operators. Sam, who's your next pick?
Okay. Well, F that.
Rex is playing an unbiased game here, all right?
Let's go Minotaur.
Ooh, Minotaur. Why is that?
Dude, he's the beefiest of them all.
Mm-hmm.
He's a beefy boy,
It's a good pick.
hair slicked back,
I respect
got
that.
some nice tattoos. Show me the money.
Number
Minotaur.
2 is
Yeah.
Minotaur.
No way.
The
What?
chaddest of all chads on the battlefield.
Number
Wears
two?
a
Absolutely.
tank top with stripes
Yeah.
onto the battlefield. You can't ask for someone who's more confident, more Chad-like than Minotaur.
Yeah.
Really? Wow. I wouldn't have guessed that one, to be honest. So honestly, I'm not glad you did, but I don't know if I would have got that one off the rip.
Mhm.
So
1, 2, 4 gone.
2 males off the board,
Mhm.
1 female off the board. See, the question is where else do these lie? I think, man, I've got 2 that I'm really looking for here, and I hope one gets back to me.
Yep.
Where, man, okay, I feel like D-Day has got to be in your top 15. I'm not sure how far up he is though. I feel like I'm confident he's gonna be there though. So I'm gonna go with D-Day, the Demon Dog.
D-Day the Demon Dog. Yes, sir. He is number 5.
Oh, good, a
Wow.
top 5. That's
Reasons
huge.
why
That's
he's got-
huge.
He's got that bandana, the glasses, the beard. This guy's
Yes.
got major balls. You know,
Major swag.
Major
he's,
balls.
Major
he's
balls.
the man in the battlefield. You would trust him with anything, and he definitely rides a Harley with an RPG
Major
on his
balls.
back.
Major
Easily.
balls.
Is that like Major Maniac's brother?
Yes, major balls. Major balls.
Tough. Oh, I'm
So
hyped.
that's
I honestly
11
didn't. I
points
wasn't
for
sure.
you?
I was expecting like top 7, top 8, but I wasn't expecting 5. I'm feeling
Yeah.
pretty good about that. That's 11
Wow.
points right there. Bang.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Right off the rip, Iskra.
She's a good one.
Yeah.
She's a good one. For sure.
She's you
Dang
know
it, dude. I was hoping she'd get
Yeah,
back to me.
no.
Oh.
no way. I don't know. I think she speaks for herself. She again is very intense. And I would not want to go off on a 1v1 against her.
She gives the confident
'Cause
vibes.
She's very confident.
Yeah, you know what I like about Iskra is the
What's that?
fact she has flair to her style. She's not afraid to kind of show off a little bit. It's very confident.
Yeah.
It's very endearing to me. Plus the eyeshadow's pretty nice. So Iskra, congrats. She is at number 9. It was a tough decision.
Oh,
but she
what?
was number 9.
I thought she was 3.
Yes. That's huge. That's huge.
Number 9.
Bro. Oh.
Trash. Garbage. I'm gonna go off and just absolutely miss on this one. Man. So how many guesses are we giving these? Are we gonna go for all 15? Are we aiming for like the most that we can get out of 10?
Yeah, let's do
Like 10 guesses each
10
at most?
at most. Yeah, because we're probably running a little late, especially if we're trying to like explain with every single one.
Okay. How about we do 5 more guesses each?
Yeah.
5 more guesses each?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if things go really wrong, then we can maybe expand the
Yes.
game a little bit. We'll be a little lenient.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so Iskra was one she was going to be my next guess.
Iskra
which is
is
interesting.
great. I honestly feel bad. I should have put her up farther up the list. She is a phenomenal. When I
Yeah,
saw her, I was like,
9,
whoa.
bro.
But I think you respect uniqueness. You
I do
respect someone that
respect
takes
uniqueness.
chances.
I do
And I
respect
think-
someone who takes chances. Yes.
I think Talon is one that is interesting to me.
Talon.
That's a bad sign.
That's a real bad sign.
No. No, Talon is on the list.
Oh, okay, all right. I don't like
Congrats.
the sound of the confidence here from Rex though. I think he might be pretty. I'm scared.
I had to
I'm scared.
remind myself because he looks a lot like Syndicate to me. I don't know if I'm crazy, but he definitely looks like Syndicate.
Interesting.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah,
He looks
I
like
see it.
Syndicate.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
absolutely.
I like his floof on the top of his hair. He's got like that
Yeah.
half like shade on the top. He also has like the furry like tank top
Yeah,
thing going on.
yeah.
Again, it's a ballsy play going into a battlefield. So I respect it. He is number 7 on the list.
Oh,
He's got that certain like European
see?
like
I knew it.
hotness to him, you know?
Wow, your initial reaction got me really worried that he
Oh
wasn't
my
going to be on the
gosh,
list.
dude.
Oh, let's go. Okay, I'm on fire. I'm on fire, baby.
All
Sam,
right.
you need a big one here. You need to hit this number 3.
I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit.
Oh,
and
no way.
This is what's gonna happen. This person is either not gonna be on the list at all, or it can be number 3. Those are the only 2 options. So I'm gonna risk it. I think, Rex, you like a little mystery in your life.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And I'm not really liking the way you
You're right.
responded.
I like some mystery. It's always exciting.
My man Kruger.
Oh, man.
Kruger. Oh, no, he is not on the list. That is not someone who has mystery. That is someone trying to hide his ugly face. No, Kruger is not on the list. That is someone who is not confident on the battlefield.
Oh,
I'm so angry right now, bro.
Oh, I'm about to swipe this game right here, baby. So now, man.
Mysterious, no. That's a man who's ashamed.
See, there's a few that are interesting. Top 15, again, there's 30, 31. So 15 is like, you realistically have a 50-50 guess. We're doing pretty good right now. I mean,
I'm surprised you've guessed as much as you
Speak
have.
for myself. Speak for myself. I'm doing fantastic right now. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go with what I think is a safe guess and go Charlie inside the top 15.
Charlie, no.
No.
The thing with
Oh.
Charlie, here's the thing. That's like my substitute teacher. Like in the strict substitute teachers, like not even the fun ones, like the strict substitute teachers.
All right.
So
all right.
no,
Dang.
not on
Well,
the
okay, we just went
hottest
back to back swing and misses
Yeah,
here.
we did.
That's actually tough. That's tough.
Huh. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Well, Sam, you're rocking the board here.
Yeah. Okay.
Dang it, man. Now I was a 50-50 guess for me. And I think you're going to take my other one.
Right away. You know what? I'm gonna go for it. This dude is seems to be like the BAs of BAs, man. Like
Okay.
and that's what makes him hot. Really, is just this
The aura.
this aura of just like you don't even want to look at him wrong.
All right.
My man Ronan.
Ooh, who again? Ronan?
Dang it.
Ronan.
I thought he's.
Ronan
I thought for
is
sure-
on the list. Ronan,
Yes.
no, you are right about
No,
Ronan,
dude.
man. He has got
No.
that vibe. He's got that leadership vibe that you're
Please
like,
don't tell me he's
man,
number 3.
man, I want to follow this guy into battle.
Yeah.
He's got that American
Yeah.
flag plastered on
He's
his
way
chest.
too excited about
He's
this.
got the muscle, like
I hate
military green shirt.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Number 14 was Ronan.
You're the worst. You are the worst. And I strongly dislike you. Oh
my
gosh,
word.
bro.
Thank the Lord. I thought for sure he was going to be number 3. The gas was premium from Rex. Wow.
Bro.
Oh, that's a solid 2 points. Hey, thanks. Congrats, man.
Thanks, man.
2 points.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
All right,
dude.
good. I was going to thank you for taking that one because I thought for sure
Yeah, you're welcome.
he's
bro.
going to be top 10. But all right, I think this is a gimme. She is like 100%. She's got to be on the list. I'll be pissed if she's not. Sid is inside the top 15.
Sid. No, she is not on the top 15, unfortunately. Here's the thing with Sid. It's just boring. The garb she is wearing. It's standard. It just is what it is. It's just standard gear. There's no flair anywhere. That's
no
what
flair,
it is.
Yeshua. No flair.
No flair.
Explain to
my
me.
word, outrageous. I mean, I get the colors are a little bland, but like, I mean, doesn't the face count for something?
Mm.
Man,
Okay, here we go. Right away.
that's outrageous.
And I think we have two guesses left each.
We'll see what happens. I mean,
Yeah.
do you want to give it? You want to give it a third? We just missed on back to back here.
I know.
I mean,
Again.
Let's do 3 more. Let's do 3 more each. I'm down for that.
Okay. Here we go. Captain Price.
ooh, Captain Price is definitely on the list. How can you not
Yeah.
put Captain Price on the
so
list?
Just
oh,
the-
come
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Talk about boring.
The leaders of all
Boring.
leaders, the captains of all captains,
Oh,
the
yeah.
confidence he
Cigar in
exudes.
his mouth.
He's even chosen to
That
wear the
beard.
bucket
what
hat.
a trash pick.
Oh.
I'm
Oh, that
pissed.
beard is well groomed. Is definitely
Yes,
a
it is.
stylistic choice that I can appreciate in any man. And then
Yeah.
the fingerless gloves. That's
Yep.
a choice. That's a choice.
That is a
fingerless
choice.
gloves. He could wear normal gloves. He chooses fingerless. I appreciate that in a man. Number 8 on the list is Captain
Okay.
Price.
That's a solid number. right
Okay,
there.
I need to hit a home run here.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, there's 2 that I really, really want to take. 2 I really, really want to take. And I think Rex is going to appreciate this guy. Talk about flair. Talk about going for it. The style's there. The beret and all. Zane is
Ooh.
in the top 10 for facts.
Zane is on the list at number 10.
Okay,
Okay,
I can deal with
that's
that.
good.
Zane, again, someone with some style in his life.
Thank you.
He's got that cold face. He's got the sunglasses, the red beret.
There's
He's
gotta
even got like
be-
a little cape on. I respect it out of Zane.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 10
So-
is Zane.
Now I'm getting interested. I have two more. Actually, I have 3 more that I really think could be inside the top like that third. But I hope you don't. There's one that I really think is going to be there. Sam, you fire away. It's your pick.
Okay. Here we go. So this guy stands out just a little bit, right? He stands out to me a little bit more than the rest.
Oh man.
Clean shaven.
Okay, phew. All
Yeah,
right.
clean
Thank goodness.
shaven.
I was a little scared.
Okay.
He's got a nice ball cap hat on.
Oh.
My man Gaz.
Gaz.
No, don't
did
tell
make
me.
the list.
Yeah.
Oh, please tell me he's low.
Gaz is 15
Yeah,
on the
thank
list.
goodness.
Last.
Thank goodness.
He made the list based off, he definitely has good looks. Standard, though. Very
Mhm.
standard.
Yeah.
But you take into account the European vibes, baby.
Yeah,
You know
He has
an
that. He has that Great
accent.
Britain flag on the hat.
He has the English accent from Great Britain.
Man.
That's the only reason he made it to 15. So, yes, he is number
I bet I know
15 for the
who you're
European
gonna
vibes.
Take.
Really?
I bet I know.
You think?
Yeah.
Otherwise, Gaz is
I don't know.
fairly
I don't know if you
standard.
do.
I think I do.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. I'm feeling pretty good about this
You
one.
guys might be tied, actually, right now. But we'll
No
see.
way. Are we actually?
You're pretty
wait.
close.
After Josh does this one, it'll be the last one. So then do the tally after Josh.
Okay. All right. Yeah. If you can tally them up right here, that'd be good.
Mm.
I think this guy. I mean, he's got a scarf going.
I knew it. I knew
He's
it.
got
I
the
knew
facial
it.
hair.
I knew it. And it's gonna be 3.
He's got the nice blue shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
Wyatt,
Ooh.
is- a guy for you. He's got to be there.
Oh, Wyatt is definitely on the list.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is fairly high
Yes.
up there. Again, I like the stylistic choice of the
Come on,
blue
baby.
muscle
Show
shirt.
me
Which
the
I don't
money.
believe anyone else is wearing blue muscle shirts. I respect it. He has a scarf. Again, another stylistic choice. I can respect in
Yes.
a warrior. And baseball cap kind of tops it off with the well-groomed beard. He is at number 6 on the
Okay,
list.
that's big.
Man, that's
Sam
huge.
gets I think whoever gets this number 3 is in. I mean, the number this illustrious number 3 is something else.
That was a
Okay.
big boost for Josh. I'll say.
That's
Yeah,
big. I
okay.
needed that one really bad.
What's the total going into last
what's
round?
this? This is the last pick right here.
Oh, okay. Let me 1 second. 14,
Okay.
You're good, you're good.
7, 2, 8.
Man,
I
dude.
mean, there's a lot of.
Who is-
I mean, do you have one in mind?
Sam-
I've got. Go ahead.
Sam is at 44,
Okay, baby.
and
Which one should
Josh
I
is
pick?
at.
Come on, man. Come on, baby.
Oh, phew. Josh is at 50.
Oh, it's
Okay.
it's
It's
all
huge.
here, baby.
This is huge.
You've got a hit here.
I mean, number 3 hasn't been picked yet. I mean, that would get you over.
Okay,
the
which
top.
ones do we have still available? Number 3,
number 3, number 11, number 12, number 13.
Wait,
So-
does number 3 guarantee the win for you?
3 would guarantee the win for me.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't. Wait, 3 would be
44.50. I get 12, which would be 56. And if you get 11,
that'd be 5.
5.
So I could still win.
No, because you get 55 out of 56.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! You can ice the game right here
I
with the number
know.
3.
It's all about. Oh my gosh, dude. Okay.
I have 2 people But I don't feel this number 3 seems shocking to me. Then
Okay.
Here's the one. I feel like I've talked about this name on the pod. I mean,
let's not give any hints at this point. Let's
All right.
not give any hints. Sam, you gotta go. You gotta go.
I swear, if it's Rodion. I'm doing it.
No way.
This person is
Unique.
very unique, and I think maybe you might
Relate.
very much like uniqueness. And the only thing I can say is Rodion.
Ooh, you got it. Number 3 is Rodion, baby.
There's no way you got Rodion as 3.
The Rodion is at number 3. He's got that helmet. He's got that tank top with his skinny white arms.
you
Here's a
Bro,
man.
kidding me?
Here's a
gonna be-
man after my own heart. He's got that helmet. He's here for safety reasons. He wants to be safe on the battlefield, but he's got a little flair in his life. He's a little risk taker. He has no sleeves, just the tank top going into the battlefield. I mean,
Bro,
That's a
this
guy.
dude looks like
he's got some
this dude
confidence,
looks like
but he feels safe to you at the same time. You just can't.
Bro.
Bro, Rodion looks like this is like his first day on the job.
It's
No
like
way.
it's that
They
innocence
picked
that
him up from Magic of
Rodion-
Gathering Club.
Rodion.
There's no way.
Rodion exudes that innocence that you like in a guy.
No hate to anyone who likes Magic the Gathering.
It's
I mean, I'm all
quite
about it.
charming. Rodion is quite charming. And so that's what puts him at number 3. Rodion.
I can't believe it. I just got iced on a game winner.
Wait, well, so you still have a chance to choose, right? Because you still...
No, I can't win. If 11's the last one
Oh,
left, I
you're
lost.
right. You can't win. You lost.
He just iced it on a game winner with Rodion. Are you kidding me?
I can't
I
believe
am-
Rodion was 3, bro.
I'm
Oh my
sweating right
word.
now.
Sid
Holy-
didn't make the list.
Oh my goodness.
I'm out of here, dude. Oh my word. Everyone, this
Okay.
has been the Best of 3 podcast.
Yeah.
This is outrageous.
Wow.
We have so much to talk about next week. And I can't believe I just got iced on a game winner by Rodion. That is outrageous.
Amazing.
This is robbery. I can't believe it.
It is robbery.
If you guys want to listen to more of this podcast, you can listen to more of it. And guess what? There's going to be another one next week. I am SalvationsElite. Josh, to my right, is Scorpio 3. I am Tilted, and that's Rex Shady Nero, the absolute idiot, choosing Rodion at 3. And guys, this is the Best 3 Call of Esports podcast. We will see you next time. We out.